A few weeks ago, I was stood in this exact spot right here, only it looked a little bit different to what you see right now. I was on a half-broken stage taking photos, our very last chance to take some branding photos for the new business. The time pressure was very, very real. Not only was it already getting dark, but we still didn't have the one shot that we needed. And then a tractor rolled through the back of the scene at the worst possible time, it seemed. But here's the twist. That tractor rolling through our photo actually turned out to be the best possible thing that could have happened. And it's also the perfect lesson in the number one thing I see many founders get wrong about branding. So let me share a very important lesson with you, courtesy of that tractor. By the end of this video, you're going to be looking for your own tractor. If you're building or running a business of your own, you don't want to miss this because it's the thing that will turn your business into a true brand. Now, this was our very last chance to get a photo that we urgently needed. Until this point, we didn't have any brand photos. It was the missing piece. And my co-founder was leaving for a trip the very next day. To say that nothing had gone to plan until this point would be a huge understatement. First, our branded t-shirts, the one thing that we needed for the photo shoot, did not arrive on time, and we had to push the shoot back quite a few days. The day that we pushed it back to was August 29th. And in most places in the world, that wouldn't be significant. However, in the town where we are and where we were taking the photos, that's a very big day indeed. That's because there's a celebration known as Banie Vintinov. Every year on the 29th of August, everybody in the municipality goes running into the sea at midnight. We are talking thousands of people all on the beach. And to celebrate that, the council puts on a huge festival on the beach and the surrounding streets, the exact beach where we were planning to take our photos. So we had to push it back yet again. And that was the final day we had before my co-founder was leaving on her trip. This was our very last chance, but we only needed one photo, and we had that photo in mind. It was going to be a shot sat at a bar on high stools where we both looked back at the camera. This was the only shot we knew that we needed to get and had planned from the beginning. Now, ideally, we would also get more than just this one shot. So we had a few different outfits, and we decided to first take some photos in the streets in the other outfits. And we planned to finish the photo shoot at the bar as the sun was setting. Now, as the sun was setting, we began to make our way towards the bar, which is just off the beach. Then we realized we don't have any photos in the t-shirts, the ones that we had delayed the photo shoot for until this point. Thinking about where we could possibly change our outfits, we spotted an opportunity. It was a leftover tent on the beach, one of the makeshift bars from the night before, and it was the perfect place to get changed in a big open area that was full of people. When we went inside, we found a sticky bar, empty bottles, lots of trash, and a lot of flies that were drawn to that mess. It was ridiculous, it was messy, it was certainly smelly, and it was really, really fun. Surrounded by trash and using a festival tent as our changing room, it was exactly the energy of our brand. What happened next was that little creative solution we just had. That moment of fun and joy sparked our next idea, because when we stepped out of the tent, we saw one of the half-broken stages right in front of us. And somehow, something about that stage just felt right. It was getting quite dark by this point, so now we had a choice. Do we want to stay and experiment with the stage, or do we walk 5 minutes to the bar to get the original photo that we were planning? The one photo that we said we needed for this entire shoot. Whichever option we chose, these were going to be the only photos we could get in the branded t-shirts. This was our one opportunity. Of course, we took the risk and chose to use the stage. In that moment, we had to make a decision not just for us, not just from a photography point of view, but from a brand point of view. The right thing to do for our brand was to take a risk, to take the opportunity that was in front and the one that could potentially spark the most curiosity and joy. And so we chose the stage. And when we got up on that stage, it was awkward. It wasn't working at all. Not only was it getting very, very dark by this point, but it was incredibly windy. The wind was just throwing our hair in our faces and making it hard to pose in any way whatsoever. Yet another challenge in the long list of things that had gone wrong until this point. And so we began to play. We leaned into the situation. We embraced the wind. We tried to fit the moon into the picture. And suddenly something clicked. It was all coming together. These were so far from anything we had planned or could have planned, but it was actually magic. And just as we were really getting into it, jumping around the stage, dancing, using the wind, using the moon, feeling really good about the photos that we were creating, I saw the photographer's face change. Of course, my first thought was, oh no, these feel fun, but they look terrible. We've wasted our opportunity. Not only is the light gone, but we don't have any more days when we can redo this. We don't have any more time. And then she said the words that I was not expecting to hear. There's a tractor behind you. If you've ever seen a tractor before, you're probably aware that they're not exactly Formula One cars. A tractor is not the fastest moving vehicle, and this one was certainly taking its sweet time to roll along behind us, exactly in the back of our shot. At first, we thought this was just another thing that was working against us on this photo shoot. And then we just thought, no, let's embrace it. Let's keep this energy going so that when the tractor passes, we can continue and get the shot. So we kept going, we played with it, and we realized that maybe the tractor could add to the photo. The whole situation was so funny that the energy just compounded with the appearance of this tractor, and the tractor became the highlight of the whole shoot. So much so that when it turned around to leave, we didn't want it to go. We ended up running down the beach after the tractor just to take more photos with it. And they are some of the most unique branding photos and the most on-brand photos we could have gotten for our business. And here's the thing, branding is not what your business looks like. It's not your logos, it's not your fonts, it's not your photos. Yes, this was technically a branding photo shoot because we needed visuals. But the reason those photos work so well for us isn't just because of how they look. It's because of that energy behind them, the energy that came because of all these things going wrong, the sequence of events, and the energy that we responded with. Branding isn't just visual identity, it's the whole identity of your business. As anthropomorphic as it sounds, it's how your brand feels, it's how your brand reacts, it's how your brand thinks. And the visual identity that you put out there, the logo, the fonts, the colors, the photos, these are just the tangible representation of that personality, of that identity. So to put this simply, branding is not how your business looks. It's not about appearance. It's about substance. It's not about freeze frames. It's the energy and the intention behind those freeze frames. And it's certainly not about making sure everything is perfect, especially when things are going to plan. It's the consistency in how you show up, in how your brand shows up when things don't go to plan. And if I can tell you one thing about entrepreneurship, it's this: things will not go to plan. In those moments, you need to know, how does your brand think? How does your brand respond? How does your brand feel? Because that is what true branding is. When the tractor shows up, they aren't just moments that your business has to survive. They're moments that completely define your brand. And if you are not super clear on how your brand would respond in those moments, on what the decision is, if you even have to think about it, you can have a stronger brand. And that moment is giving you the opportunity to do that. And until you can say that your brand is showing up consistently for every single tractor that crosses your path, your visuals, your logos, your fonts, your photos do not matter as much as you think they do, because their only purpose is to visually convey that brand, that essence, that energy that you need to know before you can convey it. So ask yourself, what is the true story, the true essence behind your business? What is its personality? What is its mission? What is its vision? What are its values? If you can answer these, you have a brand. And if you have a brand, you know exactly how to show up, how to respond, how to improvise, no matter how many tractors come across your path. And those tractors go from being obstacles to opportunities.